myself, Dr. Mohammad Muqeed, working as an assistant professor in Marri Laxman Reddy Institute of Technology and Management, Department of Chemistry. Yesterday, I discussed about the batteries and types of batteries. Today, I discuss about the some of other types of battery, that is fuel cell. Today, my contents is fuel cell, working of fuel cell, difference between battery and fuel cell, and solar cell application and advantages, and corrosions. What is fuel cell? First of all, the first fuel cell was invented by Sri William Grove in 1838. What is fuel cell? Fuel cell is a device that produces the electricity through a chemical reaction between the source fuel and the accident, or the fuel cell is convert the chemical energy into electrical energy without combustion. Now, the fuel cell is consist of electrodes, electrolyte, catalyst, and facilitate the electrochemical redox reaction. This is the basic arrangement of fuel cell is represented by fuel cell accident, and these are the electrodes, positive electrode and negative electrode. These are separated with the electrolyte. And fuel cell is a like special batteries. Because why? Because these are the chemical reaction. Previous batteries are the rechargeable and non-rechargeable batteries, but this is the special type of battery. And there are different of regular batteries because they don't need the recharge. Instead of recharge, they use the fuel like hydrogen, oxidant, like oxygen, to keep the produce the electricity. And think, a car engine burns the gas line to make the power, but the fuel cell does not something similar to the car gas line, but instead of this gas line, it is a burning fuel. It using the chemical reaction and create the electricity. So construction of example of fuel cell is hydrogen oxygen fuel cell or methyl oxygen fuel cell. Construction of fuel cell has main three parts, that is anode and cathode, electrolyte. The anode where the hydrogen gas is passed through, and it use special material called the porous carbon. These porous carbon help the chemical reaction. And another one is cathode. This cathode where the oxygen pass through it, and it is the uses of porous carbon, and small amount of precious metals like platinum, palladium, and silver added to these reactions. So electrolyte, these electrolytes separate the anode and cathode, and this electrolyte is made of potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide in the water. This electrolyte is help to carry the charged particles between the anode and cathode. So working of fuel cell is at the anode. Hydrogen molecule split into. This hydrogen molecule is split, and electrons and protons into the electrons and protons, and these protons pass through this electrolyte. These protons are passed through the electrolyte and generate the electricity through the circuit. But at cathode, the electrons and protons protons and oxygen combines and give the water molecule. So what happened? An anode, they split into the electrons and protons, where protons pass this through the electrolyte and get the electricity through this circuit. At cathode, what happened? The electrons, these electrons, and at cathode, these electrons and protons, these protons and oxygen, this oxygen combines and give the water molecules. So difference between the batteries and fuel cell. Here battery, this store the energy in the form of chemical energy. In the battery, the energy is stored in a chemical store energy in the form of chemical energy, but in a fuel cannot store energy. These fuel cell convert into the chemical energy to electrical energy, and in this reactants happen inside itself. But in a fuel cell, reactants for chemical reactions supplied continuously. These chemical reactions are supplied in a continuously in fuel cell, and in a battery, chemical reaction products remain inside itself. But in a fuel cell, chemical reaction products remove from the cell, and these batteries are rechargeable, but fuel cell is not rechargeable. We cannot recharge here. It is a battery is a less efficiency, but it is a fuel is a high efficient. And in this battery, supply energy limited of time. The time of the energy is limited, but in a energy is a long time in a fuel cell. And battery is a less expensive, but in a fuel cell these are expensive. Example of battery, lithium ion batteries, and fuel cell example is hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, methanol oxygen fuel cell. Now coming to the next topic, solar cell. Solar cell is the photovoltaic device that converts the light energy into electrical energy. This solar cell works on a principle of photovoltaic effect. And what is the photovoltaic effect of device? This photovoltaic effect occurs when the semiconductors casing electron move from and generate the electricity. This photoelectric effect is happen between the junctions of p-type junction and n-type junction of semiconductors, and the movement of electrons create the voltage in a photovoltaic effect, which power panels convert the sunlight into the clean energy. And construction of solar cell is, the solar cell consists of n-type of semiconductors and p-type of semiconductors layer, and these two n-type of semiconductor and p-type of semiconductors are sandwiched, and these are form p-n junction. These p and n semiconductors are formation of p-n junction, and this solar surface is anti-reflection coating. That means it is avoid of loss incident light energy due to the reflection. The proper metal consists of made of n-type of and p-type of semiconductor for electric connection. And working principle of solar cell is, when the solar panel is exposed to the light, energies are absorbed by a semiconductor, semiconductors, and due to this absorb of energy, the the electrons liberated, and what happened? Electron liberated and produce the DC current. Here DC current is produced. DC current is produced. And this DC current is 240 volt converted into 240 volts using as a inverter in a different applications. Advantages of solar cells. It is a clean and non-polluting. This is the solar cell is clean and non-polluting. For example, in a solar panels in a rooftop generator without emitting any harmful gases. And it is a renewable energy and it is a environmental friendly. For example, these solar panel use in sun energy which are available every day in our life. So solar cell do not produce noise and they are totally silent. These solars are not produce noise and totally these are the silence. For example, in a building generate the electricity silently unlike noisy generators. They require for the very little maintenance. These are very little maintenance we can using daily. For example, these four solar panels just need occasionally cleaning for stay efficient. Applications of solar cell and energy. Electric power generation in a space. So these solar panels are in a satellites, like those are international space centers. Using in a international space centers, they are provide power their power systems by capturing their sunlights. And agriculture products, where another application is agriculture product. Solar dyes use as sunlight dry crops such as fruits. And these solar cell is reducing the moisturing and helping the preserve them. This another application is solar pumps for water supply. These solar pumps are used in rural areas to help the pumps in agriculture farms. And irrigation, drinking purpose and especially where electricity is scarce. Another application is rooftop and building integrated system. These solar panels is used installed in our rooftops or integrated into building designs to generate the electricity, home purpose and business purposes also these solar cells is using. And solar street lights. In our streets, the solar street we are using daytime sun charge the sunlight absorbing and charging daytime, and at the night time the light up the light time, and we are here saving our energy and reducing cost also. For example, our solar street lights, the commonly in a parks and highways. So what is corrosion? Corrosion is a Latin word. The corrosion may be defined as the gradual destruction of metal by the chemical or electrochemical reaction with the environmental. During this, the corrosion is converted the metallic compounds at the surface. These are lost some material due to the corrosion. It is a great problem due to this loss of material. The most common example of corrosion is rusting iron. Another is when it is exposed the atmosphere condition, what happen? The rusting due to the formation of ferric oxide on the surface. So corrosion is like rust eating away of the metal. What happen when the metal is exposed in the air or water or other chemicals? They can slowly break down. What happen when these metal are exposed to the air or water or other chemicals? Slowly break down. This is called corrosion. It's like a slow chemical reaction weaken the metal. For example, have you seen the rusty nail? That's the corrosion. The iron nail reacts with the oxygen and water in the air and form the rust, which is the reddish brown substance. And how can we prevent this corrosion? Paint or coat metals and protect them the environmental. Use specially alloys, they are more resistant to the corrosion, or store in a metals in a dry place and reduce the exposure of the moisture. And why study corrosion is very important as the corrosion like a disease. Why? Because that slowly eats always the metal. It is slowly eats the metals. It is important to study because materials are precious resources. Materials like minerals are valuable or limited. We should use them, avoid wasting. An example, for example, iron ore is used in a make steel bridges and buildings. We should recycle the steel and conserve the iron ore. And in a mainly engineering design incomplete without knowledge of corrosion. What happened? The engineers must understand the materials, react their environment, design structures is very important. For example, a bridge built near a salty ocean, then special protection and prevention for corrosion is very important. Applying knowledge of corrosion protection can minimize the disasters. This protecting the material from corrosion can save lives and prevent the economical loss also. Example, coating pipelines and protective material can prevent leak and explosions. And another, corrosion may contaminate stored food and dairy products. Corrosion can release harmful substances that contaminate food and water. Example, food can release the toxins into the food. And corrosion products cause pollutions. These corrosions byproducts can pollute the air and water and soil. For example, in acid rains caused by pollution can corrode metal structures and harmful the plants. So another artificial implants for the human body. These corrosion implants like artificial hips or heart values must be made the material that biocompatible and resistant corrosion in our body environment. For example, this titanium is often used to implants because it is a strong and does not corrode easily in our body. These are the textbooks we have taken from these topics. Thank you.